Okay. Wow, lovely music. I love it. Well, welcome everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Jonathan Pogash, and I'm here today to welcome you to WSWA's Brand Battle Tournament. This is the alcohol industry's premier pitch competition. This week, you will see and hear from some of the industry's hottest wine and spirits brands, battling it out category by category to compete in the 2024 Brand Battle Championship. This year's championship battle will be held in person on stage at Access Live later this month, January 30th to be exact, at Access Live in Las Vegas. With the who's who from the industry in attendance, a panel of expert judges will crown the 2024 Brand Battle champion. Winners of previous brand battles have earned distribution partnerships and become some of the hottest brands in the U.S. wine and spirits marketplace. I'm thrilled to be your host today for the Tequila and Mezcal category. This morning, we crowned our vodka and gin category winner, Delta Dirt, and this afternoon, we'll conclude with the whiskey and scotch competition. I've been a longtime friend and partner of WSWA and have always looked forward to Brand Battle. It really is a terrific opportunity to see, hear, and taste new brands on the forefront of growth and opportunity. Today, you'll be hearing from 4 different tequila and mezcal companies who will spend a few minutes each presenting information about their products. After each presentation, the judges will have a few minutes to ask questions and provide feedback. I encourage all of you watching to add your own questions and thoughts in that little chat box at the bottom of the screen. We'll do our best to answer all the questions coming through during the tournament. At the end of today's competition, we will announce our category winner from our judges' votes. The winner of today's tournament will move on to the championship brand battle live on stage, hosted by me in Las Vegas on January 30th. All right, let's get right to it. I'd like to start off our competition by introducing the esteemed panel of judges that we have with us today. Together, this group of wholesalers and retailers represent businesses varying in size from across the country and bring over 100 years of combined experience and expertise in the wine and spirits industry. These industry leaders are always looking for the next up and coming brand. First up, from Allied Beverage Group, we are lucky to have Sarah Harmelin. After careers in fashion merchandising and television development, Sarah spent years as field sales manager covering on and off premise accounts alike for Allied Beverage before becoming VP of portfolio management. Like her father and grandfather before her, Sarah is highly motivated, highly involved in WSWA. She is active with women's organizations such as Women of the Vine and Spirits and WSWA's Women's Leadership Conference in hopes to guide and pave the way for more women in the industry. Sarah is also a WSWA Access Craft founding member and current wholesale advisor. Thanks so much for being here, Sarah.
Thank you.
Simone Bianconcini. Thanks. Simone Bianconcini joins us from RNDC. Simone is the VP Supplier Business Development Heritage Division, where he and his team focus on emerging brands. Simone has been with RNDC for over 26 years, where he began his career as an analyst and worked in operations before leadership roles, including area manager for the Gallo and the Brown-Forman divisions. Most recently, he was the vice president of sales in Kentucky. Simone and his team focus on sharing best business practices across the country to create a consistent craft spirits portfolio strategy that is easy to navigate. He is also a WSWA Access Craft Council wholesale advisor. Welcome, Simone. Badger liquor mixologist and certified specialist of spirits, please welcome Nick Macaluso. Nick made the jump from bartending to distribution and brings with him a wealth of knowledge from behind the bar to now serving as mixologist for Badger Liquor. Nick works with everyone from local corner bars to five-star hotels to professional sports teams, all while completing a certified specialist of spirits. Nice to have you here, Nick. Colin Mills, he represents the retailer side of our industry. Colin is the general manager of Sheraton Orlando, Lake Buena Vista. Colin's 23-year experience and leadership began with a 16-year tenure with the Ritz-Carlton JW Marriott Grand Lake as a senior services manager, then director of food and beverage, followed by director of operations. Colin's leadership in insight into the food and beverage industry is unparalleled. Welcome, Colin. And finally, from Vice President of Spirits at Winebow, we have Monique Houston. An avid spokesperson and educator, Houston has served as a spirits judge and panelist at events and competitions around the world. She has contributed to numerous publications and has been featured in the Whiskey Advocate, Forbes, and the Wall Street Journal. Monique is also a WSWA Access Craft founding member and current wholesale advisor. Welcome, Monique. Thank you to everyone for participating as judges for today's competition. And I really do look forward to hearing your feedback for the contenders and their products. All right, now the good stuff. Let's get to the part you all came to see, our contenders. So today we are excited to hear from 4 unique companies who were selected to talk about their products, representing a wide variety of new brands. The brands we will be hearing from today are Casa Loy Tequilera, Quintaliza Tequila, Viva More Tequila, and Bezu Mezcal. Well, now that we know the players, let's get started. Please welcome our first contender of this tournament, Luis Loy for Casa Loy Tequilera. Selecting the best in the history of tequila in Mexico, technological advances, multiple production methods, and a high environmental commitment are the main principles of Tequilera Casa Loy, which merges the perfect balance between tradition and innovation, offering premium tequila free of additives in each bottle. Take it away, Luis.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much for your time and invitation to this tournament phase. I apologize for the logistical inconveniences preventing the samples from arriving on time. They are on the way to your addresses during this week. I would like to introduce myself. My name is Luis Loy, and I am from Casa Loy Tequilera. This tequila distillery is part of the Mexican family, where in total of all the business we own, we employ over 2,900 people in Mexico. Today, as a part of the family, I am here to tell you about us. As a tequila distillery, we have a broad portfolio of tequilas to compete in different price segments. Still today, I will present our flagship house artisanal brand, Casa Loy Tequila. Particularly, Casa Loy Cristalino, which is an authentic and innovative bottle that fuses tradition with avant-garde, completely natural, being additive-free. Let me tell you a little bit about the process of our product. With a meticulous production process, we cook the agave for 48 hours in stone ovens with slow cooking, doing the fermentation of using our own natural yeast, creating the microenvironments of the distillery. And then we do a handcraft distillation at low pressure with copper coils. With 10 months of rest in barrels, it begins resting in Virgin American white oak barrels. It is finished in bourbon barrels, passing through a gentle filtration in activated charcoal to give it softness, and because of its more extended time in resting in virgin barrels, sweet notes such as chocolate, caramel, vanilla, nuts, cinnamon are accentuated in this tequila. With this Cristalino, our targeted customers are those whose age range between 30 to 55 years, who are not regular tequila consumers because they consider tequila as strong in flavor. Also for those who like soft and natural spirits, or for those who usually enjoy after a good lunch, a pleasant digestive. About the price, this product will have a final retail price of $40.99 USA. Also, to introduce our product in this market, we want to be tactical and strategic. This product will be entering in the market in the upcoming March, focusing primarily on California and Texas. Likewise, we will seek to position ourselves in e-commerce to have a great accessibility on national level. During this year in California, we seek to cover primarily the south, focusing on the metropolitan and surrounding areas of Los Angeles and San Diego. In Texas, we will bet on the main cities that are part of the Dash, which are Dallas, Austin, San Antonio, and Houston. As a tequila is an already known product, our entire strategy will be based on the 90% of off-premise, creating distribution with independent accounts and chain with our own exclusive brand managers. Moreover, 10% of the strategy will be based on the creating this on-premise channel. Regarding the marketing strategy, our communication, our guiding axis of Casa Loy Tequila campaign is aimed primarily for the millennial and next generations with mindset, and for those who would like to have a footprint. Also, with passion first as the main campaign phrase of our campaign, will be carried out in various ways, which includes social media, streaming, collaboration with influencers, billboard, public events of spirits, networking events, and sponsorship of local events. In short, Tequila Casa Aloy is a perfect fusion between tradition and innovation, offering premium tequilas of exceptional quality, additive-free. I would love to go into more details about the strategy we'll carry out with each of our brands and how our distillery will be great value to you. Please let me know if you would like to schedule a meeting to explore how we can collaborate further. Once again, thank you for your time.
All right. Well, thanks very much, Luis. And now let's bring back our esteemed panel of judges for a little Q&A. Let's start with Simone from RNDC. Simone, what are your questions or thoughts?
Thank you, Jonathan. Ignacio, I'm sorry we didn't get a chance to try the spirit because it sounds fascinating. Can you tell us a little bit more about how your method of distillation has affected the flavor of your final distillate?
Actually, we do a handcraft distillation in Alembics. There is two ways to do the distillation. No, those with high pressure and with low pressure. We use a low pressure method. With this, we guarantee that the best alcohols used goes through the alembic, and then at the end of when you drink this tequila, the hangover won't be so strong as many other tequilas are when you drink it. No, that's a difference that we do. We do two double distillations. In this case, to guarantee the best aromas and flavors of this tequila. I actually can say that what 50% of our profile is based in our own yeast created by us in the microenvironment that is around our distillery.
Thank you.
Monique, what are your thoughts?
Hi, Louise. Thank you. That was a great presentation. It's always, I think, challenging when the bottle and everything behind you carries your last name. You got a lot on the line here today. So you said 2,900 employees. So how does all of that look? I mean, I see too that you're doing bulk and then you've got premium private label. So Casa Loy can't be on everything. This is like the family hallmark. So what is the thing, that you really specialize in, I guess, as a company? And what is it about what the liquid that you put in the bottle for Casa Loy that is specific to you and different from lots of other things, maybe that 2,900 people are helping create?
Yeah, actually, well, the all companies, because we have 7 companies, but in Casa Loy only works around 80 people, no? I can say that we born since 2099. But we have been doing an excellent job here in Mexico. No, we were starting in the position 600 in Nielsen here in Mexico, and now we are in the position 140 in terms of sellout in brands. No, so what we are doing different of this model, this is what I say. This is our artisanal brand. This is made in a stone ovens. We have technicians, master distillers that have been working in this industry during 14 years. So they have a lot of baggage about how everything has to be made, no? So I think everything, what is a circuit between what we make different is that we decide to incorporate cute age technology to do tequila using artisanal methods, but combined with efficient process, and also that has this high commitment with the environment, no, being less thin in terms of waste. We do compost of vinasse. We use a boiler mass to do this all the process.
And
Awesome.
Colin, from a retailer's perspective, what are your thoughts?
Hey, Luis, thanks so much for the presentation. Sorry we couldn't try the special sauce, but we will get to it when it shows up. Just a quick question on your demographic there, the 30 to 55, and just how it ties into resorts. Have you done any research and development on cocktail presentation, or how you could work your product into a mixologist perspective to target that age group?
Can you repeat again, please, the question?
Oh, sorry. So from a mixologist perspective, have you done any research and development on how you could use your tequila to incorporate it into a drink, or what drink you would be targeted towards? with your tequila, or are you just more straight
Yeah,
tequila?
I think this tequila is to drink more straight. With this, we compete against Patron, Don Julio, Herradura in terms of profile, and also something important that is a differentiate from us is that we are alcohol-free. So I will say to the most of the time will be better we drink it straight. Also, we can combine it with some ice in an old-fashioned glass. But also we can do simple cocktails because to that can helps to increase the flavor of tequila. No, I could say that can be simple cocktails, no so elaborated. For example, like a Thomas Margarita could mix very well. Many other cocktails that with the notes that the tequila has to increase these flavors and aromas in the cocktail. But most of the time will be to drink it straight because it's very easy to drink when you drink it.
Yeah, perfect. Thank
All
you.
right, Luis, thank you for kicking us off. Now on to our second competitor. We have Mike Winters from Quintaliza Tequila. Mike is the founder and CEO of Quintaliza Tequila, the world's first coffee-aged tequila. Uniquely aged to feature subtle notes of coffee, Quintaliza Tequila is 100% organic, additive-free, and original, making it the preferred choice of the doers, shakers, and makers of today. Welcome, Mike.
And thank you so much for having me. Thank you again, Mike Winters, Quintaliza Tequila. Again, it's an honor to be here. There's a lot of great tequilas here. One thing you're never going to hear us say is that we're better. Quintaliza Tequila is different, and I'm going to explain briefly how. Quintaliza Tequila is aged a total of 5 months, 2 months in American whiskey barrels and 3 months in our coffee barrels. That right there is extremely different. In fact, it's actually never been done. We're not blended, we're not mixed, we're not infused. We're actually 100% additive free and organic. I spent 2 years in my kitchen making sure that we're scalable, but also that we remain additive free. That was actually one of my #1 concerns. How we do this is we age our barrels in cold brew for a period of time. We let those barrels rinse. We rinse those barrels out with water. We then let those barrels dry before we now put our 2-month reposado in there. And what that does is it gives very distinctive tasting notes. It's a reposado that sips more like an añejo, bringing on natural sweetness from the coffee that was previously in there, a little dark chocolate and subtle notes of coffee, obviously, on the back end. And it's these coffee barrels that really gives the versatility to the juice, shining through various cocktails like Negronis, Old Fashions, of course, the Espresso Martini. We were in Rolling Stone for our Margarita. One thing you should know about me is I really love a good story. I love pushing the limits within innovation, and I feel that bartenders and consumers really drive that demand. With all of the tequilas coming to the market, I felt that we needed something a little bit different while remaining additive-free, organic, but most importantly, paid attention to traditional methods, meaning no additives. Additionally, the coffee and tequila market is huge. I mean, that kind of goes without being said. I also felt that the aficionados within both markets are the same person. They love the process. And if I could join those two markets together, really creating a conversation, I thought it would be very special. I've always felt that innovation and versatility provides options for mixology. It gives a mixologist a story, a chance to be bold, a chance to stand out with their cocktails, step outside from other bartenders. Our branding is to stand out. There's a lot of tequilas in the market. Obviously, we want to be different. It's very similar to our bottle. I describe it as a tuxedo wearing Chuck Taylors. It's got a gloss finish. It's a matte black label with the embossing, but it's really this orange label that pops off the shelf at you. I created the bottom to have this texture like a dumbbell, so it provides weight to the bottle. This is really a brand first approach to tequila, really understanding as to why they drink tequila in the first place, engaging with them through high quality content on our social media and our website. And it's this marketing approach that really gives us an insane organic engagement on all outlets, working closely with our in-house digital and SEO team, mixing education with a touch of humor to attract those who don't actually follow or normally follow tequila brands. Now, this takes us to distribution, of course, and how do we get out there? My method has always been to preach the POV, educate and support, and then repeat. This is a deeper versus wider approach, hyper-focused in our backyard, killing it in our backyard, so to speak, before we worry about the next one. Education and support to help drive home the POV to the on and off premises, giving them a story to tell, because that's really the most important. We want to springboard off of our PR efforts run by Greg Cohen and Sarah, collectively with Patron for over 20 years. They've got us in Rolling Stone, as I mentioned, Rob Report, Bartender Magazine now twice, all within just 5 months. Obviously, none of this could be done without my US team, which is huge. Our team in Mexico, who provides support to Ileana Partida, our master distiller at Halcena de Ora, overseeing our agave fields, which we've been planning since day one, so we can be part of that solution, not part of the problem, and be self-sustainable within the next 4 years. When you take all of this, our coffee barrels, excuse me, our back office, the education, our brand first approach is really what makes Quintiliza Tequila truly different. Thank you.
All right, thanks for kicking us off here, Mike. Now let's bring back our panel of judges for some Q&A. Sarah, why don't you start the questions off?
Okay, thank you, Mike. Fantastic presentation, fantastic product. Package, taste, and different, and I love that. Given that it's different, given that you have a single SKU, and you have this great story that you are, so excited to share, what are your marketing plans and your activation plans from social media to traditional marketing in order to tell your story when you are not there and given this, captive audience?
Yeah, of course. I mean, this is building one of our first steps for on and off premise is really building a network of brand ambassadors that help us do education and support. It's really my number one focus. Because you have to really preach that POV and understand the differences that we're not a liqueur. I think the gravity would pull us into being a liqueur. People think that they cut Cafe Patron, they think of all these different other ones, but to try to step outside that, we really need to preach it. So on our social media channels, which we've had an extremely strong engagement, our email campaigns, which we've had an actually 82% open rate with a 38% click-through rate, which is crazy. We've really just started pushing this humor mixed with education. It's actually taking a page out of Ryan Reynolds' book, right? Like just kind of like really like letting people know how we are different, what separates us, but at the same time really giving them a lot of details about our product. And I think with that and obviously our PR efforts, we've really been able to get out there and at least get our name heard.
Thank you.
Nick, what are your thoughts?
Hey, Mike. Just want to say nice presentation. I absolutely love the juice in there. Coming from like a mixologist background, it's very unique. And I can't wait to make some Negronis and whatnot. I immediately noticed the bitterness of the product. I'm assuming from the coffee barrels. Great product. My question though is, this is obviously meant for craft cocktail places. What would you do, I guess, to kind of push general consumption for consumers that aren't going to craft cocktail bars, maybe more local bars, corner bars, so on and so forth?
Yeah, it's a great question. So actually, one of the things we're working on 2024 is 100 Cocktails with Quintiliza. It's a book that we've been working on with Ali Torres is our brand ambassador out of Miami. Ali was a speed rack, competitor for a while. She's really helped us, and through other brand ambassadors that are all mixologists forward, have helped us like come up with a lot of different creations. And my number one thing was with the creations is like, I'm not a mixologist, so I'm just this guy at home that wants to make a quick cocktail. And how do I make something that's really unique and different, but with everything that's within my kitchen? So in this craft ale book that we're creating, it's a little bit more of like, okay, if you're a mixologist, this would be for you. If you're at home, this is for you. We share those. We give examples on our sales sheet that we give out to on-prem locations. We give them 3 examples of different cocktails that they can utilize. But obviously, we're working on more of a digital approach to where they can scan a QR that takes them to a deck, a sheet that can give them a lot of ideas. And I think, with mixology, it's like sometimes you just have to like get the juices going and some ideas, and then you kind of spin from there. So it's like not an exact play. It's like, hey, this is our Negroni, but I would love for you to make 7 different versions of it and go from there.
Simone from RNDC, what thoughts do you have?
I echo everybody else's statements. Great juice, really impressive with the package and the thoughts that you put into it. And I think it seems to me that there's probably a lot of opportunity for innovation and to take this idea and to grow. Where are you thinking? Not that I would be in a rush there's something really attractive from my position and maybe perhaps from the retailer position about a single SKU presentation versus, hey, here are my 3 flavors, and by the way, I've also got a Cristalino and an extra añejo. And there's something really nice and neat about this. But I'm curious where your thoughts are on the next 12 to 18 months.
Yeah, thank you. It's another great question. So I've actually been working as an importer for the past 5 years before I started Quintaliza. So I had a really good looky-loo into other brands and how they started and things that they've done. One thing I noticed is that when you add more SKUs, it also adds more distraction. So when you're spreading out the amount of bandwidth that you have and you're over 3 SKUs, each product's going to get just that much less, right? So we're focusing really on what we do best. This is something that's different. It's unique. A single SKU. That being said, we actually have our high proof that's coming out here in the next few months. And this is really just a talker, right? Something to talk about because it's really for the aficionados. It's that extra high proof. It brings in a little bit more of the characteristics of the coffee, more aromas to it. It's too, I think, hot for, mass, distribution, but for those, call it aficionados and those self-proclaimed professionals online that are going to really give us some critics and some reviews. It's really for them, but that just keeps Quintaliza in the spotlight for that much longer.
Great answer. Thank you.
All right. Yeah. Thanks, Mike. So next up, representing Viva More Tequila, we will hear from Eduardo Morales. Eduardo is the president and CEO of Mexcor International and the Morales family of companies. He is a visionary with deep passion for people first and centered on others' success. Welcome, Eduardo.
Thank you very much. So the way that I want to share with you about Viva More is really personal to me. So I was born in Veracruz, Mexico, and I've rolled out many brands. And I believe a brand either has a soul or it doesn't have a soul, right? And that's just my spiritual way of looking at a brand. So my family is from Jalisco and Michoacan. They moved to Veracruz and they own Licores Veracruz, which is rum, brandy, tequila, and they own 2 distilleries since the 40s. Since I was born, all I did was play at the distillery, cut sugarcane, we had brandy and the whole thing. Fast forward, when I was 9, moved to Houston, and we ended up importing brands on 4th generation Mezcal, 3rd generation tequila. So when my grandmother passes away, we did Mexcor. Mexcor is $320 million, 4 states distributor, and we sell nationally. So I say God kind of helped us build a platform for people from communities from whether it's Latin America, anywhere. So we've been a part of building great brands, and we were super hyped about it, that we've been a part of them. And sometimes they go to the big distributors. But going back to my Viva More presentation, so my grandmother passes away, and my daughters love their great-grandma, and they're like, my grandma always gave us life. So it's Viva, and Amor is love. But it's also Victoria Valentina Morales. So we made it really about Victoria Valentina Morales, my 2 daughters, and Morales, my last name. So, and Amor. So that is how we came up with the name. Then it goes to when someone passes away, what they leave behind you is the time they spend with you. So it's your love, their passion, their legacy, their purpose, right? And it's going to pass on to the next generations, but it's our purpose in life. So when you take Viva More, it is 100% made ceramics in Guanajuato, Mexico. Every piece of art, because every piece is different. So I wanted to create something completely different. I wanted to be innovative and disruptive on the cap. I've rolled out another brand doing 100,000 cases the first year with liquid on the cap. And then, and this is made in Jalisco. So the glass is made in Jalisco, semi-automatic. So it's still very, very helping the community and not quite an automatic distillery. Glass maker. Then you have every bottle, if you look at it, it's going to be a piece of unique art where each will have its own shape. Each will have its detail. The brush stroke is by hand on every single bottle. And then, we call it the touch of love. So we just received it in the last quarter. We haven't barely received, we're going to receive real soon our extra añejo, and I can't show it, I guess, but it's in my background on the presentation. So in regards to that, our retail is $89.99 to $179, depending on the Blanco, Reposado, Añejo, or Extra Añejo. I wanted to be luxury. And really between $50 to $100, it's that market right now, it's on fire. So when you go a little bit above, if you're priced too low, then you're completely not telling the consumer the quality that you are. Fast forward, my mother in 2008 opens a distillery called Casa Maestri. Casa Maestri makes from Sincoros to, seeds, 21 seed, Ghost, on and on. So we know about manufacturing. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the liquid. But on the liquid, we have no additives. So we know that sweeter tequila is selling better for many consumers, but we also know that there are a lot of people that want no additives. So we have to
just
make
about
sure
30 seconds, 30
Sure.
seconds left.
So we stuck to that to doing no additives. Jerez barrels and first dumped bourbon barrels that we own bourbon futures on. It's very fruit forward, agave cooked, and really I call it like future tequila, because you can put a rock of ice in a cup and it tastes like bourbon, like a old fashioned. So that is my presentation, and I can share more with questions.
All right, great job, Eduardo. Now let's bring back our amazing panel of judges for some Q&A. Colin, why don't we start with you this time?
Hey, Eduardo, thanks. I loved your little quote there about love, passion, legacy, and purpose for those that have passed. I thought that was a real great tie into your tequila. The bottle is sharp. I love the artwork on the bottom. Not one person didn't come to my office this week and go, "Oh, wow, what is that?" It just took everybody's thing over. I guess my only question is, there is so many luxury tequilas out there. How are you going to separate yourself from the back bar at a luxury bar and get your name out there from a marketing lens to really just sort of have guests walk into that and go, "Oh, I have to have that." Do you have a strategy lined up for that?
For retail, it's a lot more simple for us because we have 230 people nationally in sales. For on-premise, we are very strong in like a Florida or a Texas or a California, where we can go to the high-end luxury places ourselves directly because we are also a wholesaler. And then it'll spread to the other states when we sell to the smaller wholesalers. So how do we do it? You have to tell the story. You have to differentiate yourself, and it has to have an angel that it's going to turn. Now, of course, we're investing $2 million on the rollout on a push to get placements, to get the right, the sales wholesalers that we don't own, right? You have to give them samples. You have to give them, placement money and the whole thing you have to play with. So we are capitalized to roll out this brand correctly and teach it like the story and what it is.
Okay, Monique, what are your thoughts?
Thanks, Jonathan. Hi, Eduardo. Great presentation. And to Colin's point, not one person did not comment on how beautiful the bottle is. So the package is stunning. Obviously super tall, so it's going to have to be high up on that back bar or on the top shelf, no matter where it sits. We're pretty strict, and this is just a Winebow thing, about only having non-additive tequilas in our portfolio. So I love that I hear you say that, because I know that's not necessarily the case with plenty of other brands and even some brands from Casa Maestri. So outside of that, what's another point of differentiation that you would say would completely separate you from other things, whether it's in terms of, fermentation or distillation or how you're processing the agave? What else is it that's making, like this tequila and your grandmother's legacy specific to good enough to be in this bottle?
Well, when the agave comes from my great-grandparents' ranch, from all the way to the barrel, on our bourbon barrels, there's no column still. There is only copper pot distillation. It's 80 tons of brick oven and 60 tons of autoclave blended together. So you get high from the highlands and the lowlands, 50-50, and that's sort of our taste profile. Traditional method, 100%. So what makes us different at the end of the day, we have our own profile that I tasted, and trust me, I've dealt with of course, panels went through it, but at the end, it's on me and I own it. I own the execution and the taste. And you know what? If we get it slightly off, I guarantee you we're going to adjust until it's a success. So we built the business.
Quick question too. Sorry, Eduardo. Yeah. I knew we were going to go right back to Jonathan. How do you get the liquid out of the lid? Is it tequila in the lid? I must know.
Yeah, you just pull out the cap. I don't know that you can see this. Oh yeah, right
I
here.
just haven't tried hard enough.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, real simple.
Yeah. All right, Sarah next. I think we have time for a quick one.
Yeah, thank you, Eduardo. It's nice to meet you. I too am multiple generations here, and I appreciate your story about your grandmother as I lost mine from this side of the family, actually both last year as well. So I think it's fantastic when you can feel that love and that appreciation that for all you've had into the product. I'm going to address the big elephant in the room as everyone talks about the package is logistics. Not to say there's a challenge, but what do you have in place to when people are either have logistical problems, something breaks, the weight is heavy, the cost that adds so much to cost. We saw this at 44 cases a pallet, things like that. Is there pushback? And also, I know I have a small hand, but this is heavy. So we're all getting our weights work out too. What was the decisions what are the decisions behind okaying this weight, and what do you have prepared to do to face challenges that it proposes?
Well, in regards to the weight, it is a piece of art. So this is we did not sacrifice anything on cost. We went 100% made in Mexico, not in China. Everything done traditional, like true artisanal product. So all I can say in regards to adjusting as you go, that is what we do, and we do great. Anything we run across, we have to fix. I believe every bottle has a little bag in it to protect any scratches and everything. And then the extra añejos comes in a big box. So I do foresee like a box that's carton on every bottle one day, but that's after we sell the first 3,500 cases that we rolled in.
All right. Thank you. That's about all we have time for. Eduardo, thanks. Our let's see. Yes, our last presenter of the day. Wow, that's really flown by, hasn't it? Is Ignacio Carballido from Bezu Mezcal. Bezu Mezcal is carefully crafted with an artisanal method that gives Bezu Mezcal a clean, crisp, smooth flavor of the spirit. Welcome, Ignacio.
Thank you. Good afternoon, and thank you for your time. I realize that most of the products you guys have presented are premium or luxury. Congratulations. Bezu is an entry-level mezcal. I was born in Guerrero, Mexico, and I grew up with mezcal. So when I came to the U.S., after opening a restaurant, I decided to go into the mezcal business. I always loved it. So I developed brands. I've been in the business for 20 years. I'm the founder and owner of Los Amantes Mezcal. I also created Chicala, which I sold 3 years ago, and now Bezu in 2021. And I realized that for a long time, there is a gap in the pricing, like retail pricing for mezcal, and $35 to $39 for a quality mezcal is very hard to find. So this mezcal, Bezu, was developed for that purpose. We do have a bar in the Lower East Side in New York, and I always thought that having a mezcal of this price point will be very important to incorporate it into all kinds of cocktails. Now, the way I select where I make the mezcal or who I choose, like for Los Amantes, my business partner is a mezcal maker for fourth generation mezcal maker. For Bezu, I found this amazing young chemist distiller in the mountains of Santa Monica, Acatepec of Oaxaca. And I like his philosophy, the flavor profile. Around the town is mostly the terroir it has a lot of limestone. So I like that the mezcal takes that flavor a little bit. It's 100% artisanal. We use the artisanal method, which is, it's peat under the ground. We use the tahona. We still pull the Tahona with either a donkey or a horse, and it's very clean. So every product I develop, I like to do it clean, straightforward. If you guys notice, some mezcals have an after flavor sometimes. Sometimes it's because there is a contamination on the way. I like to just get products that taste like it should taste, which is cooked agave. We use volcanic rocks for the concoction. We use mesquite woods, and that's what gives the profile to the products I develop. Bisu, I forgot to mention, means bee in Zapotec. And why bee is because bees help to pollinate the agaves, and that helps for the propagation of the agaves in the fields and the mountains, and it's very important to know that. And what else can I say? Just if you had a chance to try it, I mean, it's very clean, crisp, straightforward, and it makes amazing cocktails. Thank you.
All right. Thanks very much, Ignacio. Now let's bring back our panel of judges. Simone, why don't you kick us off here with some questions?
Thank you, Ignacio. Very nicely done. And it is a delicious example of a very clean mezcal, to your point. It's interesting that you were able to hit such an aggressive price. I assume that's a big part of the proposition, and you're looking for restaurants and cocktail strategies. Can you speak a little bit more to that and where you see the opportunity for mezcal? It's a very, very small category in the United States, but certainly if it's going to grow, it's going to be folks trying it in restaurants like the ones you've worked in.
What I've seen, right, in the past 20 years, and it helped me that when I got into the business, I had a restaurant with my mother in New York, and later I opened other, and finally I opened Casa Mezcal, which is an homage to mezcal, and we welcome all the mezcals. It was like a platform for the mezcal category, and it grew. I mean, we opened in 2008, 9 more or less. It was just when the mezcal was taking off, and I've seen a transformation and a growth of mezcal. I don't think mezcal is going away. I mean, you've noticed that it's not going to go away. I think it's going to continue growing a lot. What makes it special is a couple of things. It's connected to the culture, always to the culture and food, and also what we have done with mezcal, and particularly in my case, I try to keep the methanol levels down. In the Comercan, which is the regulatory body for mezcal, gives us up to 300 units of methanol. With these products, we went down to 160. So technically, what I care and having bars and seeing people drinking and getting wasted, my concern is how are you gonna feel the next morning? If you have a product with lower levels of methanol and you feel great the next day, especially millennials who want to party, have a good time and go to work fresh next morning, these are the products that, this is mezcal. Mezcal is trying to do that, trying to have a healthier product per se.
All right. Quick perspective on the mixology front. Nick, what are your thoughts?
Yeah. First of all, thank you. Great presentation. The packaging, when I first looked at it, I was like, this is a great bottle. It's sleek, it's sharp, it looks amazing. As far as the taste, I like that it's very mild and moderate on the smoke level compared to other mezcals. I think that makes it super approachable and easier for bartenders, mixologists to create cocktails. Overall, great. I did have one concern, and my question to that is, when I first pulled it out, I noticed the B, and my thought process is, any consumer sitting at the bar and they see an agave spirit with the B on it, does their mind immediately go to Patron? Because that's what everyone recognizes Patron from. How would you mitigate some of that confusion?
We tried to make it as different as we could. I mean, the bee patron is a little bit different. We do have the agave silhouette or sort of like drawing on the body of the bee. I don't know. It was a hard, I wish they found a Zapotec bee or something different, but this is what we came up with. I mean, if there is confusion or anything in the future, we can always explain and answer questions, that people may have. Yeah.
Thank you.
Monique, I think we have time for a quick one.
I was just going to ask, I think there's just and I think the mezcal is lovely and the bottle is really, really pretty as well. There's a proliferation, and you know this, you owned restaurants and you had probably hundreds of mezcals. There's a proliferation of espadín mezcal. There definitely have to be standouts other than just being low price, because somebody's always going to come back and beat you, at the low price game, I guess. So like, where does that land on some other strengths, or do you look to go into line extensions or proof extensions, different kinds of maguey, or are you sticking with this and price is the point of differentiation?
The price and the quality of the products is the point of the differentiation. So by what people are going to come out with and see the reaction, like we've seen at the mezcaleria we have in New York. Before we launched this, we were using another mezcal for Duel, the Casa Mezcal. And after we started using Bisu, everyone wanted, I want Bisu, because it goes very well in the cocktail, but also they feel great the next morning. I do have a differentiation in the other premium mezcal, Los Amantes. I can show it to you. I don't know if you guys seen this bottle before. This, we have a collection called Silvestre, which is wild agaves. And we have up to eight different species of agave for Silvestre. And that's what, in that category, which is more premium mezcal, that's what we are doing to differentiate with the competition. And we sell too many of Silvestres that I have been never able to bring bottles to the US. Everything stays in Mexico because we have a small store in Mexico, in Oaxaca, in the center town. But with Bisu, it's very straightforward. I mean, I want to get into as many states as I can in the US. I'm bringing it to Europe. I think Europe is going to be the US in the next 5 years for mezcal consumption. I just came back from Europe and I see that is really, the category is growing so much. So I want to keep it like that. If something comes up where we have to do something different with Bisu, I will. I'm always like to innovate, and I like to be. I love developing and experimenting, and I'm open to ideas and options.
All right, Ignacio, thank you.
Thank you.
Well, and thank you all to all of our competitors and judges. Now we're going to go ahead and send our judges to do the difficult task of deliberating on this category winner. Who will move on? Who will move on to the championship round? That winner will move on to the championship round live on stage at Access Live on January 30th in Las Vegas. Oh my goodness, so exciting. Well, don't go anywhere, folks. Our judges are going to deliberate, and we'll be right back in a quick second. Okay, well, welcome back, everyone. Hope you got some great information as our judges were determining today's winner of the Tequila Mezcal Brand Battle Tournament, who will proceed to the Brand Battle Championship in Las Vegas, again, hosted by yours truly, live on stage at Access Live. So today's Tequila Mezcal category winner is, cue the drum roll. There it is. And the winner is Quintaliza. Quintaliza.
Thank you.
A big congratulations to you on your win. Your award will be mailed to you in the next few weeks.